Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I didn't get a chance to put a heads up, uh, and I'm lucky I got to go live like I'm going now. Having a little trouble logging on and getting things to upload, but I made it here. So let's have a good time tonight. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope Nikki's feeling better, and we'll see who gets in the chats. But I got on my thumbnail another hoax busted, and Trump hints. He always drops some kind of hint in his speeches. They're not the same old. But as we know, uh, the Bidens are on the run, and Ukraine is almost an afterthought anymore, and it looks like the Biden administration has got to seriously consider caving in to finishing the wall and increasing border security, or they can forget any further help for your crizzle. But we will see what happens because that's all subject to change. So let me see. Yeah, I just had a friend of mine check with me, see if I was going live, but I am live. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Chris. How you doing, Garrett? MS Motorsports. How you doing? Out first round today. Tomorrow's a new race. Oh man. Well, I hope you win a bunch of money. How you doing, Garrett? Long time no see. Well, I'm glad you got a chance to stop by. And you know, I got to be careful what I say, not because of the not because of the platform, but because of my own temperament about some stuff I've been dealing with. Input from people that I know the majority of everybody that tunes in, watches the program, goes back and looks at my old videos, has a pretty good feel for where I'm at and what I'm trying to communicate. But man, there's some people I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, who they're listening to. But again, I'll be careful with what I say. I don't want to say something I regret, but I will address certain things. And like I said, I don't care if I'm down to 10 people watching me, as long as they understand what I'm saying and what I'm trying to get across and understand what's happening in this country and around the world. How you doing, Marla? There's Nikki. Yes, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and share. I told everybody, Nikki, that you had some what did I call them? Libtardos shedding on you when you went to go shopping. They were walking out around with their masks on, and they you got to be careful of that. Can't rub elbows with that bunch. Hi, William. How you doing? Diane, how you doing? So, anyway, I while we're waiting for people to come in, I might as well address a little bit of this. Many of you know the seriousness of this situation. Trump, he always puts up a good front. He is a positive. He comes out with the music and stuff like this. But I can't repeat enough how dangerous and serious a game that has been being played for at least since conservatively 2010, but most definitely 2015. And the stress has got to be enormous. And people have sacrificed the ultimate sacrifice. This is a dangerous international game. Like Sidney Powell said, control this country constitutes control of trillions of dollars. What they're facing, the people on the baddies, I'll say the baddies, they've got no choice but to suppress this movement and continue the way they're going. Because if this movement is successful, they are finished, and I don't mean politically. I saw an article today where the Daily Mail put out, released some information, some names that were associated with Jeffrey E. Now, these weren't flight list names. I'm sure they are on the flight list. But they are people who were doing financial dealings with Epstein and J.P. Morgan. That, as I said, the Daily Mail released. Chris Rock was on there, which surprised a lot of people. There weren't details as to what was going on. And then you had the usual suspects like Prince Philip and Bill Gates and, the usual suspects, but also some new ones. How you doing, Rubber Toe? How you doing, David? How are you? Got B-Dog here. Pappy Two Bears, how are you doing? Debbie King, Diane. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. So, I said, how you doing, William? So, I'm just scrolling through. I had a lagging, some kind of lag in this program or whatever it's called, streaming platform. So it's still doing it. But I'm getting, if I miss anybody, I apologize. But anyway, and it seems like a lot of people don't get it. I know most of the people that are watching the videos, they do get it. But there's some, it's just very irritating. And I kind of went, how many of you remember me going just on a whim, not a whim, but I got irked, and I all of a sudden went on a rant about how we really don't deserve some of the sacrifices people are making for us. Do you remember that? That was probably 2 weeks ago. And after I was finished, I said, man, I don't know why I put that out there, but it's true. We don't deserve Trump. And I don't mean personally everybody in the chat's me, but I'm talking about this country, the way the behaviors have been allowed to go ahead, and how people have not stood their ground or spoke their mind, or they spent money on things that strengthened corporations that are peddling trash. Renewing that subscription to HBO. I told a friend of mine, think over the last 15 years how much money you've given to your cable company. Add it up. And what the hell do you have to show for it? Nothing. You can get just as much entertainment off your phone, being selective and viewing things that you think are worthwhile. But people, I mean, there are households that pay $200 or more a month for cable. And a lot of them say sometimes, well, it's the only way you can see the ball games. Bread and circuses. Ball games. Like he makes any of the team players that come run pay your bills. So I mean, really, uh, games. That's what it is. Playing games. That's I don't know what to say, but that's just one example. How people have just let the principles of this nation go, principles of uh, societal norms go right in the toilet. And Norman Lear passed away. He was 101 years old. I didn't bring that up last night, but he passed away. And I remember we were watching All in the Family, Good Times, shows like that Norman Lear produced. And I remember saying to myself, a lot of this stuff is a little edgy. And I remember the All in the Family show where Archie snuck his little grandchild in and baptized his grandchild himself. And it was a very touching part of the show. And Meathead, refused to have his child participate in any religion. And they were broaching subjects that now, I mean, we're talking about people running around in dresses that have beards and all kinds of stuff. That stuff seems so tame now. But I had mixed feelings about Norman Lear, but now I don't. I think he was a force for a positive view of America. And he was a genius in many ways. He showed us in the series Good Time, JJ and his family, and his father was working, and his mother was holding the family together, and you had a lot of spin-off shows come off about it, but it was Americana. It was Americana, and it was a good meme. I hope I can find it again, but it showed Archie Bunker and George Jefferson clinking glasses together and saying something to the effect of, I don't know what's wrong with this current generation. And Archie was saying some kind of 1970s wisecrack about black people, and George Jefferson was calling him a whatever the 70s. He was either honky or cracker or something like that, but it was done in a funny way to show, what is wrong with people today compared to in the 70s when you had shows like Sanford and Son and the shows I mentioned earlier that really at the end of the exercise, we enjoyed the shows. Every race, every creed, every person watching those shows enjoyed them, and we felt a little closer together as Americans. And we've let that go, and we didn't build on it. What we're watching now is awful garbage. And the good news is, I'm not saying this moment in time. What we're seeing in this moment in time is these media companies that have purposely poisoned our culture, and we were asleep at the switch. It's catching up to them. And I mentioned that Disney is a an example, a flagship example of when people start realizing what they're purposefully doing, that these companies are going to be self-destruct. Now, it's interesting that I'm seeing articles that Elon Musk cost Disney millions. Elon Musk dropped the bomb on Disney. Well, they're trying to blame it on Elon, but it's been happening. And you all have been watching my programs, my broadcasts, and you've heard me mention it many times. Also, DC, the Marvels, also Saturday Night Live, late night comedians, and things like that. But they're trying to put it over on Elon now. It's because he threw some shade on them one time. He told them to go F themselves if they're going to pull their advertising. Well, they were in a spiral way before Elon stepped in. That's okay. That's okay. Let them blame it on Elon. I don't care who they blame it on. Because if they don't change themselves, and real quick, there's going to be big problems, not just for Disney and all the other things that I mentioned. Let me see what's going on in the chats. Oh, Nikki remembers. Yeah, that was a rant about what we deserve. I'm still getting to that point because of why I'm in an irritable mood. I almost didn't go live, and I don't want to say something too overboard. Hello, Mr. Kibler. How are you doing? Steve, how you doing? Sinsen. Hi, Sissy. Lone Wolf. Hi, Cheryl. Marla cut the cable off 2 years ago. That's right, 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's right. Yeah, Rob Reiner was in the news. Meathead was in the news. I've got it somewhere in my studio. Kind of like he's almost waking up a little bit, if you can believe that. Some of these people that are involved in show business and stuff like that, I won't say Hollywood, just show business. They get swept up in a current, and they're not all evil, but they're surrounded by evil people. And, some of them may come around. Hi, Angel. How you doing? Sherry, Doug. That's right. Norman Lear held a mirror up to society so we could laugh at ourselves. 101 years old. And then you got to deal with, hello, Mr. Gibbler said, Sammy Davis Jr. kissing Archie Bunker. That was funny. I have to get a screenshot of that. That was funny. And Archie needed a blood transfusion. Do y'all remember that? They had to find somebody, a blood donor, because he needed to have an operation. And turned out that it was either a nurse or a doctor, but she was a black lady, and she said, "Oh, I'm your blood type. I'll just go ahead and donate some blood." And Archie was laying in bed. He said, "I don't know. I'm kind of nervous." And she said, "What are you nervous about, Mr. Bunker?" He said, "Well, I don't know if my white corpuscles get mixed up with her hemoglobins, black hemoglobins, won't there be like a race riot?" And it was all meant in good fun, and people laughed and had a good time. And, there was an absence of hate. And it was like all the characters were searching for some kind of harmony and understanding to keep a family together. Oh, Rob Reiner's throwing a fundraiser. I don't know. I think he got a little upset over that where they were attacking the these colleges attacking Jewish people. That's when it wakes them up. But the rant that I had gone on was, I do get frustrated. I know everybody wants something to happen, and that's why I started off discussing that many people have risked quite a bit. And I will repeat, operators have lost their lives. Donald Trump said many times in his first administration that hundreds of people came to Washington, D.C., starry-eyed, full of life, ready to go, ready to make a difference, and their lives were utterly destroyed. Financial, they were getting sued, they were getting investigated, stories we've never heard of. The average person doesn't know how deep this infestation runs and how vicious these people are and how organized they are. But you figure they would get a hint when you see that somehow collectively they've managed to get all the three-letter agencies to review, remove content like mine, Twitter, Facebook, this YouTube platform, all under the thumb of this bunch. I had to spend 60 days walking on eggshells, every single broadcast, watching every word I said up until last night. Hi, Doc, how you doing? 60 days, because one false move and this channel would have disappeared. Every video I had uploaded would have been erased. And if I didn't have the backup on Rumble, they'd have been gone forever, and I have no recourse. That's a lot of power, okay? It's impacted the lives of every American. And I'll tell you what, one of the things I'm PO'd about. I spent a half an hour talking why Mike Johnson wanted to blur the faces out. And some people still don't get it. I don't know if it's because they don't want to get it, or who the hell do they think they are when they say, well, we should get to see everybody's face. I said 15 flipping times last night, there are people who are white hat operatives that would be in danger if you showed their faces. That there were people, average people living at home, worrying whether the FBI is going to knock on their door, and they luckily did not get caught. Didn't do a damn thing wrong. But if you put their faces out now, they could be in trouble. But still the attitude comes out, well, if they don't have anything to hide, they should not blur the faces. That tells me that there are people out there that don't understand the dangerous nature of what our society is going through right now. We're walking through darkness, okay? Scary darkness. And you got to walk through the darkness to get to the light. So I said, and maybe I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. They didn't catch what I was saying. We knew they were going to try to pull something back then, right? On J, and then the other letter, the number is 6, 2020. We knew there was something rotten in Denmark. Of course, if we knew that, our operatives on our side knew that. In the military and in the FBI, the white hats in the CIA, they knew it too. You couldn't rely on average citizens to know when to video, who to video, how long to video. Plus, they were busy waving Trump flags, busy listening to Mr. T's speech, interacting with each other. They didn't have a mission of documenting properly what needed to be documented. So they had to send in people that were operatives and special forces, 2 of which we know and most of us saw with our own eyes take Nancy's laptop. You don't put their faces out on blast, especially right now when a dangerous animal is at its most dangerous. Remember Putin's story. When he was a 9-year-old boy, he trapped a rat at the foot of the steps. It had nowhere to go. What did it do? It attacked him. It attacked him. And he learned to and it got away. But he could have put the H0AX to it a couple of seconds sooner. At the timing is everything. So still, I hear, they should put everything out there. And it frustrates me because it's not rocket scientists. It's not rocket science dealing with this kind of dangerous stuff. You got to be as innocent as a lamb, but as sharp as a serpent's tooth. And part of it is a lot of people get encouraged to go into, hey, we know we're dealing with evil. We know that there are certain elements in this deep, as Vivek said, state. Okay, he said it plenty of times, but they'll still get me in trouble if I don't break it up deep. And then the other word is state. We know that they're actual Satan worshipers. Okay. Then you have a huge portion of them that are just along for the ride. They don't care about their country. They don't care about treating their fellow Americans fairly. They want personal power, profit, and pleasure. And they're along for the ride, hedonists, okay? But part of the counter operation, part of what they do to distract people and instill, I see Ian, I think, was saying the word fear a number of times, instill fear in people, is put out this magical, that there's some kind of some kind of otherworldly power that people need to be afraid of. And I was having a conversation, Nikki will vouch for me on this. I brought it up. And if I'm wrong, somebody, put in the chats, correct me. Satan couldn't do anything to people. As a matter of fact, As far as I know, the one time Satan could directly affect a person was Job. And he had to get permission from God to afflict Job. Other than that, the only thing he does is deceive, okay, and tempt. Those are his only weapons. He can't come out from under the bed and put a pillow over your head and smother you, or come in the room like Dracula, like a fog, and then appear before you and do you physical harm. He can't pierce that veil. All he can do is tempt you, deceive you, lie to you, and his power lies in human beings that fall for it and do his works. I'm willing to sit here and say Satan and all his legions. Remember when Christ confronted the man who was possessed by demons, and Christ spoke to the demons, and they said, "We are legion." And he sent them into the pigs, and the pigs drowned themselves in the sea. Well, you could take Satan and his legions, and they would be defeated. A one-on-one battle, they would be defeated by a good-hearted child. A good-hearted child could defeat Satan and his legions, no problem. Because we've been told that once we find out how petty, how vapid, and ridiculous his powers are, the world would laugh at him, would laugh at Satan. We give him power only if we give it in our own minds to him. Remember when Satan tempted Christ? It was nothing. A flick of his hand. Didn't even have to do that. And Satan was gone. When the archangel Michael came to collect Moses, Satan was there and wanted Moses' body. Michael just walked past him and rebuked him. Said, "God rebuked you," and just walked past him like it was nothing. Ghosted him. But still, we have people put out stuff that is supernatural in nature, that creates fear in people and distrust of others. Yeah, they got their rituals. Yeah, they do things, to harm little ones, and they operate in the shadows. But it's evil deeds by evil human beings, not some mystery power. And the thing is, it boils down to them being common criminals. Well, they're beyond common criminals because of the viciousness and the callousness of their acts and the conniving way that they gather power. How they corrupted their own minds and their own spirits. That doesn't mean they have some kind of ethereal power. It's just that together, when they all operate on the same page, when they all give a wink and a nod, and I mean across oceans, they understand how to work together to do evil works. But it's all generated from human activity and human thought. and they're coordinated, and we're getting down into their modus operandi. We're identifying who they are, but they will cut no corner. They will look at Seth Rich, okay? They'll take out whoever they need to take out, and that business of people wanting stuff now, and not respecting and understanding the danger that the people who are trying to help us have placed themselves in for our sake and this nation's sake. People who Monday morning quarterback or sit in their chairs at home and say that Trump's not doing enough. Jenna Ellis is a traitor. Mike Johnson is a black hat. Blah blah blah, and they have no respect and no appreciation for what these people are putting themselves through. And after I spent a half an hour going over this and similar discussions to go right back into the same stuff, that makes me think of the rant I had a couple of weeks ago where I said, we don't deserve this. We didn't deserve George Washington. We didn't deserve Abraham Lincoln. We didn't deserve, we didn't deserve Christ on the cross. But then it made me think about grace. What is grace? Grace is giving you something you don't deserve. Because if we deserved it, we wouldn't have to be thankful. You're thankful for things you get that you don't deserve. You go to a job, you work a job, you have agreed upon amount for so many hours, you get your paycheck. You don't got to go worship the boss or put on a dancing show for whoever signed the check. No, you earned it. It's yours. But if you get things that you really don't deserve, except for the sake that somebody cares about you, somebody loves you, somebody wants you to do well, like your parents, you be thankful for it. You count your blessings. I've been down that road many times on broadcasts, how a lot of people don't count their blessings. When they pray, they don't thank God. They continually ask or demand from God. And I'm like, wait a minute. Count your blessings. Just like I said, meting out punishment is a duty. Not just, the way leaders have been portrayed in the past decades here in America. Oh, I believe in this and I believe in that, but they don't mete out punishment evenly or fairly. They're not doing their duty. Well, it's the same thing. We have a duty to be thankful because what's happening to us right now, what we're witnessing is grace. We don't deserve it. It's grace. By the grace of God, we have people that have been working and toiling day and night to try to restore this republic and defend our civilization from evil people. That is, I don't know how to boil it down any better than that. And to people that criticize criticize those that are in on the battlefield. I just it gets on my nerves. And I don't, I didn't want to get myself going too far and say something I shouldn't say. I'm trying to be gentle about this. And I've talked about it in the past, and I said, we don't deserve this. We really don't. So, in other words, some folks have to start being thankful. I talked about that in Thanksgiving. Doug said, get an attitude of gratitude. That's right. So, anyway, I hope that gets you all. I know most of the people that are in the chats and watch the show, watch the broadcasts, know where I'm coming from. But the thing I haven't brought up till now that I want a lot of the folks that listen to me to realize, other than the gratitude thing, and that I get touchy when people don't understand. I did a show, a broadcast on my old channel, and it's still up on Rumble. I talked about Nathan Hale, how he was the first American spy to get captured and hanged in a tree in Boston, Massachusetts, 21 or 22 years old. His sacrifice, and to think about it in modern terms, we have Nathan Hales right now that will never know their name. They'll lose a lot. Their families will be threatened. Nathan Hale, after they hanged him, they had no respect for him. Nobody even knows what happened to his body. Before they hanged him, he asked if he could write a letter to his mother. He did. He wrote a letter out to his mother. A colonel that was overseeing his hanging came up, took the letter he wrote to his mother, ripped it up and threw it in his face, and they put a rope around his neck and hanged him. And he said, I regret that I have but one life to give for my country. So when I see people, what were they going to say back then? Oh, it's a good thing we got a tape recording of Nathan Hale in that bar talking about how he was going to infiltrate the British. We should be able to hear those conversations. We should be able to read everything that Nathan Hale was trying to smuggle past British lines that got him caught and got him hanged. We shouldn't try to be covert. We should put everything out for everybody to see while I sit at home on my butt while Nathan Hale's out there dealing with the danger. So it just, people got to think in a covert manner. I mean, some things have got to be done behind the scenes. Some things we're never going to know. But we know the big picture. We've been given the biggest gift of the drops, okay? And everybody knows what I'm talking about, 17 drops. But don't let the black cast read into it or get you to repeat a bunch of supernatural, magical thinking that's going to discredit the entire thing. Psyops, sometimes they seem supernatural, like a magic trick. Okay, how somebody right in front of you has three balls or two balls in a cup, three cups, and moving around. Holy cow, how'd he do that? It looks like it's supernatural magic, but it's just a flipping trick. Okay, a deceit of your eyes. It's the same thing with words. People can twist words so you hear something that wasn't even said, like they did with Mr. Trump how many times? They repeat his words in such a manner as to twist the entire meeting and gets half the country after him, against him. So we've been given an incredible gift of intelligence and reason. But they cloud it, they block it off with notions of supernatural powers and things that you feel are beyond your control, or fears that something spooky is going to happen. Hey, we got to get real. We got to get down to earth and not get distracted by that kind of stuff. We got to ascend and focus. Okay. You know, and a lot of people that were talking about those J6 tapes, they're getting mad because the faces are going to be fuzzed out on some of them. They haven't even gone to trouble to look at the important snippets and tapes that have been put together that prove the whole mess was a damn hoax and a lie. They haven't even looked at those that's already been let out, but they're demanding thousands of more hours. And no, hurry up and let it out. Don't take the time to blur faces. Did you even look at the ones that have already been let out? No. But I want the new ones that we haven't seen yet, even though I didn't look at the ones that have already been let out. Boy, that makes me mad. It burns my backside. So anyway, enough of that. A hoax, another hoax, is some lady tried to burn down Martin Luther King's birthplace. And I believe that's a federal monument. But anyway, she got her dumb rear end arrested on felony charges. Where is it? There's a black lady who wanted to pull a Jussie Smollett. Here it is. Black woman tried to burn down MLK Jr.'s birth home last night. She was caught with gasoline by tourists and detained until the cops arrived and arrested her, and now she's looking at felony warrants. Trying to stoke racial divide in a phony hoax. Yeah, reporter asked college kids what 15 times 4, and they didn't get it. Yeah, I saw a video clip where somebody was painting the parking lot at an Army recruitment center. Did you all see that? It said a sign in a shopping mall said something like a U.S. Army recruitment center on a big sign up top. And then on the parking lots, they were painting Army, for their reserve spots. And they painted them all and they spelled it AMRY. Omri. They don't even know how to spell army. And it's right. If they look up at the top of the building, it's right there. But they already spray painted the parking lots. It's the most ridiculous damn thing you've ever seen. Yeah, MS, I didn't have much. I automatically forward my videos to Bumble. But broadcasting on there until I get a better setup is hadn't been very good for me. But I will be going back on there because I got a feeling, even though I'm out of the woods, as far as immediate threat, that they're going to get, you know. I got went to the 1,300 mark last night, but I was stuck down 1.2 for 6 months, and that is not normal on this platform. Hi, single songwriter. How are you? Yeah, you're right. A lot of these HOAX, I see you put a space between each one. That's good. Um, Here we got New York University student suspended from school and loses scholarship after caught tearing down posters of kidnapped Israelis. And she put out a little video about I don't know why I'm losing my scholarship, but well, it's coming back and biting them in the rear end because Penn State, a billionaire, donated $100 million, and then they found out about that president of Penn State had said something in a speech that was derogatory and anti-Semitic. And he said, remember that 100 million? I want it back. No, I'm not giving it. So, and he's getting it back. Babylon B did a joke about it, where they have her. It's a female president. She's lighting candles on something that looks like a Hanukkah candelabra, and says, UPenn, University of Pennsylvania president, like special, please don't pull that $100 million donation menorah. Here it is, Daily Mail. Exclusive Jeffrey Epstein files. Trove of never before seen emails and calendars give unprecedented insight into the late P3DO, right, files network of power and influence that include, just make sure I didn't drop off, that include Chris Rock, Peter Thiel, Richard Branson, and H0AX. So have you all heard that was put out just the other day? Let's see. Woody Allen and Chase Bank was involved with transactions between those in a private address book and Epstein, but they're not sure what the transactions were. And Epstein was holding as hostage some J.P. Morgan executives by using the information he had on them in his little black book about the transaction information. Prince Andrew and his wife, ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, and had very detailed information about their finances. Was he blackmailing them? Bill Gates and Epstein were working on $100 million fund, and Bill Gates finally admitted that he had an affair. So they were blackmailing him over that. And was the affair with like somebody with like one digit in their age, instead of two digits in their age? So now Oh, it's getting a little choppy, single songwriter. Yeah. Well, well, it's like I said, it's usually double the listeners at this time, or at least 30-40%, but it's all suppressed. And I got to get a better setup. And I will. Checking the chats here. I didn't know they ran ads on my channel, Angela. I don't get anything for it. I'm not monetized, and I'll never be monetized. I rely totally on viewer support. So I want to thank Gary. He helped me out last night, sponsored last night's program. And I haven't seen him in the chats tonight. But Mary Freeland and Norm and Lone Wolf helped out and darting around. Are the recent ones that helped me out. I appreciate it very much. As all this week and last. So I didn't know they ran ads on me, but like I said, they don't give me anything for it. I don't want anything from them. I want to be able to say what I want. Is it, well, it's either 5x5 or it ain't. Now now I said Trump because I want to bring this up too. Now, like I said, those of you who have watched me for a while, remember my Tuesday night broadcast. Tuesday night, and you all vouch for me now. Y'all vouch for me in the chats that I said this. I said, have you all noticed, and it wasn't the first time I said it either. I said, have you all noticed how just about every speech Trump has brought up Al Capone? I said, there's got to be something to that. And then when I that was earlier, a couple weeks back or a week or so back, I said that. And then Tuesday, I said he did it again. He brought up Al Capone. And he said Al Capone committed all kinds of crimes, red rum and bootlegging and racketeering, everything you can think of. Trump even said he was the greatest criminal of all time, he thought. And then he said, and he only got charged once. I got charged 4 times. And I said last Tuesday, I said, there's a reason he's bringing that up. And I said, did you all know the one charge Al Capone got? It was for tax evasion. While I'm live last night, we all get the news that Hunter gets busted for tax evasion. So that's a hint. That was a hint Trump's been putting out on top of many other hints, and some things that are not hints, they're just, he's just outright telling you how things are gonna be. But we got to do our part. And we got to blow them out in Iowa to make sure there is absolutely no doubt. But I'll tell you something else. What that era of Al Capone made me think of. It made me think of prohibition. I forget which amendment it was, but prohibition, and a lot of people don't know this. Most of you all probably do. A lot of people don't know that prohibition was actually an amendment to the Constitution of the United States. Yes, they put forth an amendment barring spirits and intoxicating liquors. And it got repealed. The American people threw it out from 1920 to 1933. Let me tell you, there was a lot of dirty doings in the early teens of this nation, 1916, 1920. The amendments that were passed during that time need to be looked at. And where these people talking about Trump being a dictator, where are they getting that from? That he's never going to leave office? Well, that's making me think, especially after what Vivek said. Vivek said the 2016 election was stolen. Remember that? He said it was stolen by the United States intelligence services. A lot of people are saying, well, what do you mean by that? I know what he meant by it. What Trump has said many times. I didn't get a peaceful transition of power. Trump never got to exercise his authority as president. I think they're going to be able to show just what Vivek was saying. They preempted his presidency. They usurped his office. He may have sat in the Oval Office. They may have let him do certain things, but he was not able to fully function as chief executive during his first term. And that might lead to a decision that he gets a mulligan. He gets a mulligan. It may sound crazy at first, but when you think about how Trump has said in the past that they blocked him every step of the way, they fought him every step of the way, that they cheated and they lied and they slandered, they obstructed, they subverted. That's right, single songwriter, and most of the time behind closed doors. Yeah, Wanda, I think he gets a mulligan. So that's something to keep your chin up about. And also this, hey, if a lot of people don't realize we had an amendment to the Constitution in 1920 making drinks unlawful in this country. They actually added it to the Constitution. And then in 1933, we got rid of it. That means we can get rid of we can repeal other amendments we don't like. One of them being the one that created the Federal Reserve, one of them being the one that created the IRS, which gave permission to a bureaucratic class to get the fruits of your labor and the sweat of your brow at any amount, from any source. That's called slavery. So when we hear Bolsonaros say there's something coming that you can't even imagine, And when Trump says America's going to be greater than ever before, when Trump says the best is yet to come, when Trump says the late 1800s and early 1900s, he said this, that was the best time and we had it going on then. That's when our government was financed through tariffs, okay, and corporate fees and taxes, not individual tax and interest slavery. I think we're going to see Mr. T, and then again, Norman Lear, 101 years old. The names that I brought up in the past, and I was jokingly saying, I want the liberals to keep that in mind, that they could be dealing with Mr. Trump in some form or another for another 20 plus years. Okay? But at the same time, we have to realize he's a human being, and that this movement is not totally about Trump. And just like anything the military does, there's redundancy, there's backup, there's plan B, okay? A spare tire, always. You got double of everything. So anyway, folks, I've jabbered long enough. I know there's a lot to talk about. We will see how this weekend gels out. Keep in mind that Trump is supposed to be scheduled to testify in front of Judge Engoron on Monday, and that his second gag order with Jack Smith has been upheld mostly, with the exception that he can fire back at Jack Smith. But the rest of the gag order is prohibitive. Like Trump said, he is not going to be, anybody can say any crummy, rotten thing about him they want, but he's not going to be able to respond back. And I think that's going to be going back in front of the Supreme Court. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff in my studio about Trump's responses, but the New York Post had a thing about Hunter Biden on the front page, calling him a wild child, but it says he spent big on drugs, escorts, and exotic cars while dodging $1.4 million in taxes. But the wild thing about it is the second part says he faces, guess how many years in jail? Guess how many years Hunter faces in jail on 9 new federal charges? See if you all guess the number. Boom. Okay. Jersey Joe got it right at the end of the song. Roy got it. Roy got it. Jersey Joe, Diane, 17 years. Isn't that amazing? So now, I don't want to get silly, but when you think about the hints Trump put out about Al Capone, one biggest criminal in history, one charge you went down on was taxes. He hinted on that week after week. Then Hunter gets hit with the tax charges, and he's facing 17 years. You put it all together, you can see how it is part of the program. Okay, so we should not get upset that they filed charges. Timing is everything. Things will be shown to the public. We just got to do it on the Patriots. Oh, that's another word I can't say on this thing, but their timeline. Yeah, Kim, Susie got it too. So That's the big number, 17. And here's another funny one. Minneapolis Teachers Union leader. Now this is where they're going to start getting in trouble. Called the STABB of Derek Chauvin. She's on a TikTok video, making fun of Derek Chauvin getting stabbed, and she called it Shanksgiving. Shanksgiving, making fun of a human being getting almost losing their life. And she is head of the Minneapolis Teachers Union. That's what's teaching our kids. And she's not going to be there. Oh, Trump called out this fat character that is financing that woman that sued Trump, claiming he did something to her 30 years ago. He financed that whole bill that allowed people to sue for stuff 30 years back. He called me, Trump said, this disgusting slob, a political operative, is the same guy who funded a woman who I knew absolutely nothing about, sued me for RANPE, and I was found not guilty. She didn't remember the year, decade, or much else. He had some really inconsistent things. Disgraceful trial, very unfair. I was asked by my lawyer not to attend, and that it was beneath me and they have no good case. But that was not good. Trump is not happy with his attorney, but he called that billionaire who's funding this, called him a disgusting slob, a political operative. And his name, he's in the New York Times, top Democrat donor Reid Hoffman gives $250,000 to a Nikki Haley super PAC. So Nikki Haley took $250,000 from the same disgusting slob that financed that phony case about Trump and that old crone that accused him of assaulting her. So more and more is coming out. Judge Engoron, Trump gave him a real good look at when they took their lunch break today. Trump put out Judge Engoron's connection to Michael Cohen explained. Cohen testified against Donald Trump in his civil case, and he put up again an exclusive by Laura Loomer. He put up a thing. Judge Engoron is getting Loomer. Judge Engoron has had unethical ex parte communications with Michael Cohen in Trump's civil case. So apparently they have documentation that the judge has personally talked to Michael Cohen in ex parte communication. And he even put the definition of it up. A judge shall, to avoid both the appearance and the reality of impropriety, judges must avoid impermissible ex parte communications concerning, quote, pending or impending cases before them. Perhaps the gravest danger is entirely unmonitored and unaccountable input to the judge, which cannot be timely contested or counteracted by the disadvantaged side. So that is something that Engoron is, both with his goofy looking clerk passing notes. Nobody knows where the hell they're from, what the notes say, and dealing directly with Michael Cohen. I'm telling you, he's going to get thrown off the bench. And Trump said, both of them, Letitia James and Engoron, are behaving fraudulently and should be removed and prosecuted. So let's see what happens with that. But anyway, folks, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. I appreciate everybody that's helped me out with Buy Me a Coffee. I've got a link in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out. And it works after the live stream has been completed, in case anybody watching the show later on wants to help out. And I got to put Gary's name in the front on this list of everybody that's helped me out this week. I appreciate it very much. And that's Gary, Norm, Lone Wolf, Darting Around, Mary Freeland. I got to add Mary Freeland in there. And here's everybody that's helped out. I don't know. Let's see if we get these subscriptions up, like get up to a couple thousand. It's ridiculous that all this time getting like one a week or something it's crazy. Took off like a rocket, but they took care of that, right? They're keeping Mountain Man down, but I'll bounce back. So let's see. Just checking the AJ, single songwriter. AJ had that big interview with Tucker Carlson. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, folks, I hope you all have a great night. And like I say, hit the notification bell so you don't go live. Thank you for spending your precious time with me and listen to me bellyache here this evening like I did earlier in the conversation. But I'll be broadcasting soon. You all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.